Forgive me, y'all. I'm so late. Welcome to the Test of the Tide channel and another edition of Sunday Funday. Let me get myself set up on my computer so that I can see the comments as they come in. Thank you all so much for being here. Hope you all are having a great weekend, a great Sunday. Let's see. Okay, I'm trying to situate myself as best as possible. Let's see here. Got all my water and whatnot. Okay, here we go. Okay, thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. I'm just trying to get myself set up so that we can get our discussion going. Hang on here. And of course, we'll wait 5 minutes, see if any channels come in, show them some love, and then we will get on with the show. Oh, goodness. Hope y'all are having a great, great Sunday. Alrighty. Let's see. I think I am set up now. Okay, cool. So now, how are y'all doing today? Hey, Brenda. Oh, no, no problem. Thank you. You know, I pin the comments that I think are usually early on when I upload something and that I think are really pertinent to what I'm talking about. Because, you know, every now I'll get the, first or hey girl or love you, and if that's not what I'm talking about, then I don't want to, pin that. I want to pin a comment that I think that is going to be relevant and that people who come to the video just for the title of video are going to be able to relate to, not because, because I'm still not at the point where a lot of people who watch YouTube are just coming for me. They don't know me, so they're coming for my topic. So I want to pin a topic that's relevant to the point. Let's see here. Okay, but yeah, I appreciate people when I pin a topic, when I pin a comment. It's usually because I can tell they actually watched the video because they made a comment that's relevant. But I appreciate your being there. Thank you again for the thumbs up, and we're going to get into it in about 3 minutes. If you have a YouTube channel and you come in here, just let us know you have a channel. You're here supporting us, so we want to support you. Let us know. Tell us the best thing that you posted on your channel all week. And in about 5 minutes, we're going to go on and get into it. We have a lot of topics today, and you all know, or the people who've been here know, that now we break up this live stream into a few parts. And so the first part is what we're on now, and it's always the serious part if there is a serious part. We do have a couple of serious things to discuss today, and after the 5 minute mark, we'll get that underway, but we have a whole lot to go over. My dogs are just fine, Brenda. Thank you for asking. Actually, I'm glad that you asked me because I need to give them a treat because their heads both just popped up. I need to give them one of their, well, I guess even though they don't send me anything, I'll do a plug for for the Blue Buffalo Company. They have healthy dog treats, so I got them some health bars, and they like them. Although Rocco, he only seems to like his when it has coconut oil on it, so I have to put coconut oil on his. Indy doesn't care. She'll have hers however, but not Rocco. He's very finicky. If I don't put the coconut oil on it, he'll smell it and won't touch it, and then she'll come and eat it for him. So here, the dogs are doing great. Thank you for asking. Rock, hold on, excuse me, y'all. Okay. Rocco's being so lazy these days. If the snack doesn't go like right to him, he won't like jump up and get it in most instances. And if it's close enough to her head, to Indy's head, she'll just eat it. And I don't want her to eat a snack. So we have less than a minute to go before I jump into exactly what we're talking about today. And thank y'all for being here and for spending part of your Sunday with me. We obviously have some entertainment stuff coming up in the next 2 segments and chance to win a gift card. I went and got some more, 2 more different gift cards today. So we'll have that coming up at the very, very, very end of the last segment. Hoping to do just 3 segments today. And I'm wanting to be done before 7 o'clock. That seems a bit ambitious because I have a lot of topics, especially in the entertainment category today. But we got to get through, like I said, the serious stuff first, and then we'll see where we go from there. But I appreciate you all for being here today, and we will now go on and take this time to get into what we're talking about. The months are coming along. the ball is in my court now because I still need to send over something to the lady who's doing it. So I need to get that done because I should have done that Saturday. I should have done that probably before Saturday, but it's me. I'm just tired, y'all. Okay, so first in this segment, we're going to talk about the Alexis Crawford. She is the Clark Atlanta student who was pronounced as missing about a week ago, and unfortunately, she's been found dead. And we're going to talk about the circumstances surrounding that, or at least as they have been reported, what I've read. Very sad story. And we're going to talk about a story. I'm here in Texas, and we're going to talk about a story that's gained some national attention because some celebrities have kind of picked it up and taken on the cause of Rodney Reed, a man who's on death row and who is scheduled for execution on November 20th. And a lot of people think that he is possibly innocent, or at least some things have come up that make it seem like he deserves a retrial at best. So we're going to talk about that, and maybe there will be an update next week for that story. Now that's all that I had planned for this segment, and I do just want to mention though, Nay West emailed me. She was the first one who I saw it from. She's usually in the stream. She emailed me to tell me that Tatiana Jefferson's father passed away, and that is the young lady who we talked about who was killed in Fort Worth, Texas, by police when she was playing video games with her nephew after her neighbor called for a wellness check. Her father died of a heart attack, and a lot of people on social media are making comments about how, well, basically it seems like one can die from a broken heart, and the comments that have been made just are, a lot of people who know him are saying that he's not been able to get over or to cope with what had happened to his daughter, and he died of a heart attack. So very sad to hear that. Now in the next segments, if you all want to stay with us, we are going to talk about the Popeyes chicken sandwich return and all the melee that has gone along with that. We are going to talk about T.I. Getting his daughter's hymen checked to see if she's still a virgin. We're going to talk about Robin Crawford's new book, where she discloses some personal things about herself and Whitney Houston. And we are going to talk about some TV related stuff. I guess you could say reality TV personalities and things that's going on with them, kind of inside of their shows and outside of their shows. J-Bug, who's a member of B2K, 90s or early 2000 boy group, and some things going on, some drama going on within that group. We're going to talk about Kevin McCall, the ex of Eva Marcel Pigberg, now Sterling, and his antics in the courthouse. Hey, American Copperhead, thank you so much for being here, my first moderator in the house. We're going to talk about the Kenya Moore versus Nene, for those of you who keep up with Real Housewives of Atlanta. I did a video on Apple Watts, who is a cast member of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. And we can talk about the video and what happened on the show, but just as a broader discussion, some things as they relate to Black women. Thank y'all for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. And then lastly, we will have our Florida Man story and our gift card giveaway. Raffle, just a raffle. So that's everything that we have planned for today, including all three segments. But we will go on and get started with the first thing, which is this Clark Atlanta student who was missing but has been pronounced dead. But before I get into it, let me see if there are any comments that I need to read. And let's see, I'll just say some hellos. Hello, Mike Jones. Let's see, American Copperhead is in the house, and Brenda. Those are the only people commenting so far, but I appreciate you all for being here, and thank you for the thumbs up, those who've given a thumbs up. And let's see, so on to the subjects. Let's see here. Missing Clark Atlanta student Alexis Crawford, that is her name. A man has been charged with the murder of Alexis Crawford, the Clark Atlanta University student who was found dead in a park on Friday night after she went missing a week ago. Baron Brantley, he's 21 years old. Hey, you not ready? He was booked on murder charges on Friday, and authorities said that they believe that Brantley is responsible for Crawford's death. Crawford, she was one of 10 children, was last seen by her family on Wednesday, October 30th, when she spoke with her mother and sisters via FaceTime. Her family reported her missing on Friday after she failed to show up for class or work. According to authorities, Crawford's roommate, Jordan Jones, who is also Brantley's girlfriend, her roommate is the guy who, her roommate is the girlfriend of the guy who killed her, who was reportedly killed her. So according to authorities, Crawford's roommate, Jordan Jones, who is also Brantley's girlfriend, is also a suspect in her murder. One of the two suspects was able to lead the police to Crawford's body. CNN is also reporting that before Crawford's death, she filed a police report describing unwanted kissing and touching days before she went missing. She is also said to have gone to Grady Memorial Hospital to file the report, which alleged that Brantley, the guy who is accused of killing her, sexually assaulted her. That report listed Jones as a witness, Jones being her roommate. Her roommate apparently witnessed her being sexually assaulted by her roommate's boyfriend. While a motive has not been clearly established, the department did take a police report from Alexis Crawford on October 27th. This is just a few days prior to her being reported missing, Atlanta Police Chief Erica Shields said. In this report, Alexis was described unwanted kissing and touching from Baron Brantley, again, the guy who's accused of killing her. Brantley has since been charged with Crawford's murder. CNN reports he waived his first court appearance on Saturday. His next hearing has been scheduled for November 22nd. He remains in Fulton County Jail without bond. And, quote, the case has come to one of the saddest conclusions possible and has been absolutely heartbreaking. So, hated to hear that that's how this story turned out, that, you know, that's the ending of this story. I was really hoping that this young girl would be found alive. Not the case. I am dusting off my tablet so that I can show you all the video. I want to show you all the video from the police chief there as she did her press conference, wrapping up the matter, you know, for the press. And it's just so sad, you know, young girl with her life ahead of her. And, you know, even for her roommate, why, you know, I just question, I don't know, it makes me question a lot of things, but let me go on and get this video started. Because it makes me question things, but it makes me sad and angry as well. But let me get to the story, and then we can have a discussion, right? Let's see. Okay. Ooh, I have so many videos and stories loaded up in here for you all to see related to a lot of different things. So I gotta scroll on down, but it looks like everything's going to cooperate with us today. Okay, so here is the guy who is accused of killing Alexis Crawford. That is his picture. That is the suspect. And just to give you a little background on him, his name, again, 21-year-old Baron Renwick Brantley. He's been charged in the murder of 21-year-old Clark Atlanta student Alexis Crawford. His past criminal charges include battery, family violence, cruelty to children, simple battery, theft, fleeing or attempting to elude a police officer, and robbery. Now, why would any college girl who's going somewhere with her life, who's planning on doing something with her future, why would she be hooked up with a lowlife who has such an extensive criminal background, especially only at the age of 21? Why has this boy been involved in all this? And so here's the roommate now. This is the roommate of Alexis Crawford, who apparently allegedly witnessed her boyfriend sexually assault her roommate. That's another picture of her, Jordan Woods. That's the girlfriend of the one who killed Alexis. That's her family's on Christmas. So that's Alexis. And yeah, I retweeted that from her Twitter. Okay, and here we have the police chief. And this is what she had to say.
University student, Alexis Crawford. Good evening. 1 week ago, on Friday, November 1st, the Atlanta Police Department took a missing person report for Clark Atlanta University student, Alexis Crawford, age 21. Today, Alexis's body was found in a park in DeKalb County off of Columbia Drive. Our investigators were led to the location by one of the suspects. As a result, our investigators are working on securing arrest warrants for 2 individuals. Jordan Jones, who's a female, age 21, and Barron Brantley, who is a male, age 21. Jordan had been Alexis's friend and her roommate. While a motive has not been clearly established, the department did take a police report from Alexis Crawford on October 27th, and this is a few days prior to her being reported missing. In this report, Alexis described unwanted kissing and touching from Barron Brantley. Barron, who is the boyfriend of Jordan Jones. Jordan Jones, who is Alexis's roommate and friend. The case has come to one of the saddest conclusions possible and has been absolutely heartbreaking. To all of the APD investigators who have done this diligently and around the clock, I say thank you. Thank you for treating Alexis as if she was one of our own family members. And to Alexis's family, our hearts go out to you. I am so truly sorry that we could not provide you with a better ending. Thank you.
Very sad, you guys. And before I get on with my commentary, I want to show you all this. This is a picture. This is Alexis right here with the arrow pointed to her. That's her roommate right next to her. Her roommate who watched her boyfriend sexually assault Alexis, and who, you know, is basically now a second suspect in her death. And so, you know, just a cautionary tale, I guess, you know, to watch the people who are closest to you. Be careful who you call friend. This girl was supposed to be this young girl's friend. She watched her boyfriend sexually assault her friend. And it seems like, what it seems like is unfolding now is that since Alexis went to the police to report this assault, that now, hi Gretcheline, that now, you know, they, I guess, couldn't do anything except for kill her. You know, that was the only way that they could think of to silence her, was to kill her. How disgusting. So, again, watch who you keep as your friends. And again, why was her roommate connected to this felon? Why is her 21-year-old roommate, I mean, all these kids are 21 years old. They're young college kids. Why is a young college girl who has her whole, who had, the roommate had her whole life ahead of her, connected to a lowlife with a rap sheet, you know, a mile long? And Alexis, you know, now we have another life just gone. Hi, Nate West. Thank you for coming in. Now, you know, this young girl's life is ended. And it's seeming that it's because the roommate's boyfriend didn't like the fact that she went and filed a police report on him because he sexually assaulted her, but they needed to find a way to silence her. And killing her was the only thing that these two numbskulls could think of. And so I really hate it for her family. I hate it for that university. I hate it for her friends, you know. I hate it for her. How sad. And And are you with me? Are you thinking that's why they killed her, because she filed the police report against him for sexually assaulting her? That's the only thing that comes to my mind. But here is a tweet that I had to share, because this is also related to the situation. Um, let's see here. Okay. Yeah, so here's what he's talking about. I don't know if y'all can read that. I hate to say it, but his girl looks better. Why would he take that route? So thankfully, most everybody in his comments read the shit out of him. You hate to say it, but you said it anyway. So this is a guy who's saying that the Brant, whatever the killer's name, that the girlfriend, the roommate Jordan, looked better than Alexis. So why was he, messing with Alexis? Because Alexis looked better than her anyway. What does that have to do with this girl who's been sexually assaulted and now she's dead? You could have kept that completely to yourself. And it's shit like this. That's why when it comes to the Stephon Clarks of the world, if y'all remember who that is, why my mouth is totally shut. Some of these guys just don't have the decency to let a woman die in peace. She's dead. And we're talking about how she looks compared to another woman. How fucking disgusting do you have to be to put your Twitter fingers to use to say this? I'm disgusted. So that's it for that story. Let me see what y'all's comments are, and we'll have a bit of a discussion and then move on to this Rodney Reed story. Okay. Let's see here. Let me scoot this over. I didn't set up properly, y'all. I was running so late. I forgot to do my thumbnails before I came in. That's why I was so late today. I felt so bad. I thought I had it all together, had my notes together, and then, it's just time for me to really literally get ready to log on. I'm like, I haven't done any thumbnails. Okay, and that took me a while to put those together. So let me see what y'all are saying about this. And I'll read the comments. Let's see. Weird. I'm only reading the comments about this story. When we get to the other stories, I see like Mike has a comment about T.I., for instance. I'll get to those when we get to that segment. But let's see here. Okay, Mike Jones said, whose boyfriend? Okay, so I think we're on the same page now, Mike, at this point. You realize that I'm talking about the roommate's boyfriend is who killed, it's Alexis's roommate's boyfriend who killed her, who they're saying killed her, who's in custody for killing her. And American Copperhead said, that's so sad, that poor young lady, and I mean, like, what else can you really say in cases like this? Yes, it's very sad. Brenda said that truly a sad case. She had her whole life ahead of her, right? That's what you think of kids in college. They're, figuring things out for themselves, getting educated so that they can move on to whatever field they believe they want to work in, even though we know, that, that 9 times out of 10, they'll probably end up working in something else. Hey, Slick. But yeah, just, again, yeah, did have her whole life ahead of her. So the roommate's boyfriend allegedly killed the other girl. Exactly, Mike. That's what Mike Jones said. Yeah, so I guess he was figuring it out as we were talking. Gretchen says, why would they do this to her and her family? My heart is so heavy for her family. Those two need the death penalty. That's something you don't wish on people, but this was so sad. You know what? I 100% agree. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because the next story is about the death penalty. Gretchen, and tell me if I'm mispronouncing your name, but yeah, this is one of those times. I'm not a huge fan of the death penalty. I think that when it's applied fairly, then yes, but it's not a lot of times I just think a person should be dead. But this is disgusting. What these two kids did. They ended this girl's life basically because she spoke up for something that he did to her. Like, it's so terrible. Then Nay West came in. We're always glad to see Nay. And let's see here. Uh, Mike Jones says it's the roommate in jail. Mike Jones, I believe that both of them are in jail. That both Jordan Woods and the guy, I believe they're Jordan Woods and her boyfriend. Is it Jordan Jones? What? Jordan and her boyfriend, the roommate and her boyfriend, are both in custody. As far as I know, they are both in custody. Um, Nay. Oh, okay. So I think that Gretchen, you see that Nay West is who Nay is. She's always in our stream. She's a regular here. Let's see. Yes, I think it's likely they killed her to shut her up. Piece of shit should rot in prison. I 100% agree. American Copperhead. What other reason would they have to kill her? I mean, and the timing so suspicious. Right after she files a police report, nobody can find her. I mean, it's terrible. Yeah. Okay. And American Copperhead says that yep, they should be put to death. I can't think of any other solution. I can't think of any other logical thing that should happen to them. I think this is absolutely disgusting. But let me get on to the next story. Let me get a sip of my water first. And I like my ice water. I'm gonna chase up my smart water, which is room temperature. Okay. So, yeah. But that guy, he could have kept his tweet to himself. That disgusted me. So, Rodney Reed. Protesters rallied at the governor's mansion here in, y'all know I'm in Texas, or maybe y'all don't know I'm in Texas. So at the governor's mansion in Texas on Saturday, in an effort to halt the execution date of Rodney Reed, 11 days before his scheduled execution date. This comes after death row exonerees delivered a letter to Governor Greg Abbott on Friday asking him to halt Rodney Reed's execution. Again, the execution is dated November the 20th, and they're asking that the governor halts that execution date because of some new evidence that has come up related to the old case. And this case is decades old. I believe it's from 1996. Reed was sentenced to death row after he was found guilty of the rape and murder of Stacy Stites. And her body was found dumped on the side of a Bastrop, that's a smaller Texas town, a Bastrop Road after she didn't show up for work one morning in April of 1996. So what's the new evidence that has people thinking that his life should be spared? Mr. Reed's lawyers have argued previously that the state's forensic investigators made critical errors regarding the timeline of the killing, which some investigators admitted in affidavits. The lawyers have also pushed for the murder weapon, which was Mrs. Sykes' belt, to be tested for DNA evidence, and that never happened. So, I mean, there are some critical flaws from what I'm reading about this story. The lawyers work for the Innocence Project, and I don't know if y'all are familiar with that, but that's a pretty well-known group which seeks to exonerate people who might have been wrongly convicted. Along with their forensic argument, they have objected to a Texas judge scheduling Mr. Reed's execution before his federal appeals have been exhausted. So his appeals haven't even been exhausted, but they're ready to kill him. Most recently, at least 3 people have come forward with new testimony regarding Miss Stites' fiance. Her fiance, the lady who was killed, her fiance is Jimmy Fennell, and Jimmy Fennell is a former police officer. He was a police officer at the time of her death, but he's a former police officer who was released from prison just last year because he pleaded guilty in 2008 to kidnapping a woman that he encountered while he was on duty. And that woman who he kidnapped said that he also raped her. So he's been in prison for about 10 years. Her own ex-boyfriend, right? Or ex-fiance. So Arthur J. Snow, who served time in prison with Mr. Fennell, that's her fiance, who was her fiance at the time, said last month in a sworn affidavit that he heard Mr. Fennell confess to the murder of Miss Stites. Mr. Snow, who is a former member of the white-only prison gang called the Aryan Brotherhood, said that Mr. Fennell, her fiance, who was white, bragged about killing his fiance because she had cheated on him with a black man. And Mr. Reed is black. That's his picture on the thumbnail. Go sit down. I'm sorry, y'all. Indy's putting her cold, wet nose on me. Gross. Okay. Mr. Fennell said that he believed, Mr. Snow said that Mr. Fennell, her fiance, believed that Mr. Fennell bragged about killing Mrs. Stites to impress him and other members of the Aryan Brotherhood, whom Mr. Fennell had sought out for protection. Y'all know that's what they say happens in prison, that basically the races click up with each other and kind of make gangs to protect each other. So Mr. Snow said that he came forward after reading about Rodney Reed's case in a newspaper recently. And other witnesses have also described statements by Mr. Fennell, her fiance, that the innocence lawyers say that they want a further investigation of. A former insurance sales representative said that he heard Mr. Fennell say that he would kill Miss Stites if he caught her, quote, messing around. Charles W. Fletcher, a former friend of the couple, said that Mr. Fennell had complained that Miss Stites was cheating on him, and Jim Clampett, who's a former sheriff's deputy, said that at Miss Stites' funeral, that Mr. Fennell, her fiance, looked at her body and said, "You got what you deserved." That's just what people are saying, but that's what they're saying he said at her funeral. Mr. Fennell's lawyer, Robert M. Phillips, said that Mr. Fennell denies killing Miss Stites, that the Innocent Project was merely recycling claims that were made at trial. It was inconceivable, he said, that the people now coming forward would have stayed silent for so long if their accounts were true. But he just said that they're recycling things that were said in a trial, so they're not just coming forward if these things were already said in trial, and they're saying them again to try to spare this man's life. Because apparently these things weren't investigated or looked into deeper when the first trial occurred. So anyway, Mr. Phillips said that Mr. Fennell, her fiance, had converted to Christianity, had found a job and a girlfriend, and was living a law-abiding life. He said he did not know whether Mr. Fennell supports the death penalty for Mr. Reed or not. Now, Rodney Reed's lawyers and his supporters have pleaded with the Governor Abbott, governor of Texas here, to delay the execution by 30 days, and to order the Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles to investigate the possibility of commuting Mr. Reed's sentence. So we'll see what happens. I'm not sure if any result came out of the protesting that took place in Austin on yesterday. Maybe by Monday we'll hear some news on that. The governor, Mr. Abbott's office, did not respond to a request for comment on Tuesday. And the governor has only stopped one execution in nearly 5 years in office, allowing for 47 executions to go forward. And that's according to the Texas Tribune. So the odds certainly don't seem to be in Rodney Reed's favor with the track record that this governor has, or that just the state of Texas has. Y'all know we execute a lot of people in this state. So we'll wait and see what happens. We'll know something one way or another for sure by the 20th, because that is his execution date. Either they're going to give him some more time, or they're going to execute him. So time is running out. And it's cases like this that have me make that caused me to have reservations about the death penalty. Hey, Wolverine. But I'm all for it with heinous murderers, or like just the story that we just did before, Clark Atlanta. Hey, Malvin, how are you doing? I think that it's pretty, when it's clear cut, like, yes, these people killed this person, then I'm all for the death penalty in a case like that. Or when there's just no doubt of a person's guilt. But if there's even a chance that a person could be innocent, I have a very hard time thinking that the death penalty is the right punishment. It's right to me only when it's applied in a fair way. And too often in Texas, it just seems that that's not the case. Like I said, we execute more people by far than any other state. So that's all that I have to say about this one. Let me see what those comments are about this. And after we finish talking about this subject, we'll shut it down and we'll talk our entertainment stuff. Hi, Indy. My dog is corralling me, y'all. She's just like up under me with her wet nose. Come here. Come over here. Come here. You gotta come around. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can show her to y'all while we're into these comics.
She escaped.
She's alright. Come here. Come here. Okay, y'all. Let's see here. So, sure. Okay, thanks. Okay, so here we go. What are y'all saying about this particular case? Okay, American Copperhead says, I thought all appeals had to be exhausted before they can carry out an execution. It sounds like Miss Reed wasn't given a fair trial. Exactly, it does sound that way. And so we're waiting to see what's going to happen. Like I said, there were a lot of people protesting in Austin yesterday, but we don't know what is going to come of any of that. So let's see here. Let's see. I'm looking to see if there are any other comments. Malvin, like I said, we haven't seen Malvin in forever. Thanks for coming to see us. Yes, that is indeed. Okay, so that's all that I have on this particular story. If y'all want, unless and Nay West did mention to me, and I mentioned it earlier, but I don't have notes on it. I already made my notes for my live stream at the time that she sent me an email. But you all know we were doing the story on Atiana Jefferson. That is a young lady who was killed by Fort Worth police in her home when she was playing video games with her nephew. Her father died, I believe last night or very early this morning, of a heart attack. So thankfully it wasn't anything violent, but unfortunately it, from everything that I'm reading, from people who knew him well, they're saying that he just really was not able to get past or get through or cope with what happened to his daughter. And he ended up having a heart attack and passing away. So very sad to hear that. You know, he was very distraught over what happened to his daughter. And I hate that, you know, for him, and very much so wanting to fight for her. And, you know, when, for instance, the GoFundMe was created for her funeral, he made it very clear, no, I don't need a GoFundMe for my daughter's funeral. I can afford to pay for my daughter's funeral. I will do that, you know. And I just feel my heart just goes out to this family once again. Just another tragedy suffered, you know, back to back. And I cannot imagine, you know, being in their shoes at this time. And so I do hate that for them. Again, that was something that Nay West brought to me this morning. And right after she brought it to me, I looked on Twitter, and it probably took about 5 more minutes for it to pop up on my Twitter feed. But I do hate to hear that. So that's all the serious stuff for today. Unless you all have some comments about either one of these stories, Alexis Crawford, Rodney Reed, then what I'll do is go on and just shut things down and get a head start, because I'll let you know what we have coming up. We have a lot to talk about as far as entertainment is concerned. And yes, I see American Copperhead saying, oh, that's terrible, poor guy, and Malvin Jackson saying that he was heartbroken. And that's what a lot of the comments are that I'm seeing on Twitter, people saying that, you know, he actually seemed to have died of a broken heart. I don't want to cry, but geez, like that's what it seems like. Like his heart just literally could not take what happened to her, and I guess that there's nothing he could do about it, you know. And I'm not a parent, but I imagine that as a parent, you know, you want to be able to protect your children, I guess, like more than anything. And so, I don't know. I just feel like that's, you know, that's something that you just got to, that's got to be hard. That's got to be hard for a parent to deal with. So, yeah, exactly, Wolverine. I know exactly what you mean. So, in the next couple of segments, this is what we're going to talk about. We got the Popeye's chicken sandwich return. We'll talk about that, and there are several videos that I have to show y'all that go along with that. We're going to talk about T.I. checking his daughter's hymen. We are going to talk about Robin Crawford and the book that she's written about Whitney Houston, called a memoir called A Song for You, My Life with Whitney Houston. Let's see. Thank you for moderating, American Copperhead. I do appreciate you. Let's see here. What else are we going to discuss? Then I think I'm going to, yeah, I'll leave those things and, oh wow. Yeah, Melvin Jackson. And you hear about those things happening all the time, like especially when it's a couple who've been together for decades and decades. One dies and then the other one just like cannot seem to exist without that person. Then the next stuff, it's all like, we can call it TV talk, but it's like reality TV people who are in the news for certain things, but it's like kind of in a tangential kind of way related to their shows. So J-Bug, we're going to talk about him having been accused of sleeping with his bandmate's mother. We are going to talk about Kevin McCall, who is the former lover, baby daddy of Eva, who is one of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and his antics in court that did not do too well for him at the courthouse down in Fulton County in Atlanta. We're going to talk about this Kenya versus Nene and just pretty much the things that are being said. That's going to be quick. And then I did a video this week, and thank you all for watching it. It did pretty well. I did a video this week on Apple Watts, something that she said on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, of all things, that actually struck a chord with me, enough for me to make a video about it that has over 1,000 views now. So it resonated apparently with a number of women. So I'm thankful to see that. Hi, Lady B, I didn't know you were in here, but I'm seeing that you deleted messages from Wolverine. I can't imagine he said something bad. That I'm guessing that's a mistake. I don't know. Because I didn't see the comment. But anyway, that was my first time seeing you were here, seeing that you deleted a message. So hi, but what's going on down there? Okay, and then we'll shut it down again, and we'll come back for our Florida Man story and for our raffle. And I'm going to let you know the cards that we have. Mae West has a card on the way to her. So again, we have the Starbucks card. If y'all want to enter to win that, $5. We have, let's see, which one is this? The Subway card. All right. And we have, again, another Dollar Tree card, because that's what Mae West decided to take last week for her winnings. And then I took y'all's advice and tried Sally Beauty. We have a Sally Beauty card. So that's what's coming up. If you all will give me about 10 minutes, let me get myself shut down and reset up, get the new thumbnail out, and get my new tags in. Okay, hey Lady B. And yeah, because like this is how we're doing it now. We got to do our thing in segments so other people will watch. And that's helping, actually. Now that I don't have a 4-hour stream, 1 4-hour video, people are actually coming and watching the stream after we go live. So I do like that happening. So y'all give me about 10 minutes. And I'll be back. And that's the only thing that I hate shutting down, because I feel like I'm going to lose some people. So turn the notifications on, and if they're not working, then just look for me. I'll be back in about 10 minutes, y'all. Give me 10 minutes or less, and I'll be right back. Thank you all for being here for this segment, and I'll be right back when we count it down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you in the next segment. Come on back.